I may tell a joke, but I'll never tell a lie. I may tell a joke, but I will never tell a lie. It's just not in me. I can't tell lies. It's just not in me. I told you guys on my last video, Provoke Them to Get What You Want, that Kenya getting off the show had a lot more to do with a secret person in the cast or production that wants her off the show, other than what happened between her and Britt Edie. And if you guys go back to that video, I received that download while I was recording the video. I got a download and it was telling me that there's somebody in the cast or in production that does not want her there. That's the download that I got. And if you guys rewatch the video, you can put in the comment section that I did say that she has a hidden enemy in there. Somebody wants to take food off of her plate. And a hidden enemy is somebody who is probably in your proximity or not, that secretly desires to see you fail, and you have no idea that they do. That is essentially what a hidden enemy is. And let's get into that. A hidden enemy is someone who secretly desires to see you fail. They desire to see you cry. They want you to encounter roadblocks, hardships. They secretly are harboring a deep feeling of desiring to not see you get that thing that you want. Now, a hidden enemy, now that I'm older, a hidden enemy is not what I thought it was. Now that I have more experience, a hidden enemy doesn't really show you that they don't like you. You'll never be able to tell, because the thing is, you would never know this person feels the way that they feel about you, because there is 0, 0, 0 signs. So I used to think that a hidden enemy was like a frenemy or somebody who would show signs of jealousy, envy, somebody who would be shady here and there, but that's not really a hidden enemy. A hidden enemy is never going to show you any type of signs that they feel negatively towards you. You will never know until you find out through the grapevine that something wild has been done and they're the one that sent the hit or put in the tip. Or you will find out after they do something extreme to you out of the blue. So you will never be able to spot out a hidden enemy, ladies and gentlemen, unless you are a hyper spiritually sensitive person where you see them in a dream, or you see them doing something to you in a dream, or God tells you directly to stay away from that individual. You're never going to know that they are secretly your enemy. Now, this is something that's very popular in the community of women, because women like to latch on to, a lot of women like to get near the woman that they secretly envy. Okay, so the hidden enemy thing is very popular in the community of women, because if a woman is secretly envious or jealous of another woman, 9 times out of 10, she's going to try her best to get in that woman's territory. The way that women operate when it comes to jealousy is definitely something that needs to be studied, because if a woman is jealous of you, she's going to try to get around you. That's going to be the first thing. If she's envious, she is going to try to grow close to you in some manner. She's going to, maybe if you own a hair salon, she's going to try to keep getting her hair done. Or if you do nails, she's going to come to the shop around the time and days that she knows you're there so you can do her nails. It's all about developing that proximity to you, okay? So you will never be able to spot out a hidden enemy unless you're hyper spiritually sensitive or God tells you. You can't spot hidden enemies, ladies and gentlemen, because they cloak themselves, okay? They cloak themselves spiritually and they cloak themselves physically. So spiritually, they cloak themselves where they may, let's say you're like praying about this person for God to show you who they really are. You may have to pray a lot more, or you may even have to go on a fast, because every time you pray and ask God about them, you don't see anything. So a lot of times your hidden enemies, they try to cloak themselves spiritually so that you cannot read them, so you cannot see them, so that you cannot have dreams about them. So, because God reveals people to us in our dreams, our dreams are another dimension where we get to see the reality of things, okay? Things really get down in our dreams. That's why I love going to sleep at night, because when I go to sleep at night, I get to see visions. So your dreams are going to show you what's been going on behind the scenes spiritually. So hidden enemies usually cloak themselves, meaning you can be a very intuitive person, but there's certain people that you never see them in your dreams. You never see them when you go to bed at night. You ask God to reveal them to you. You never really see them, in your dreams. You never really get answers about them because spiritually they're cloaking themselves so you don't spot them out. And then they physically cloak themselves. So how do hidden enemies physically cloak themselves? Over admiration, compliments, smiling at you, hugging you, being very warm, congratulating you, telling you they're proud of you, investing in you, all of these things that they may do, but they may secretly be harboring strong feelings of resentment towards you. And you're not going to know. That's why I always tell you guys to develop a close relationship with God so God can expose people to you, because he absolutely will if you ask him enough. Okay, so hidden enemies usually come as a shock to you. You're never, like when you find out who this person is and what they've been doing, you may collapse, you may cry, you may be in shock, you may go into isolation for a couple of months because you never thought in a million years that this person would be doing what they did to you. Okay, so what inspired me to make this is, in case you guys didn't know, for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya Moore got fired, remember? Or she got suspended. And I mentioned in my other video, provoke them to get what you want. That video is linked below. Provoke them to get what you want. I said that I believed someone in the cast was responsible for her suspension. I told you guys either somebody in production or somebody in the cast was responsible for her suspension. Now, mind you, I get a lot of downloads on people. I can read people, whether it's somebody that's close to me, whether it's somebody I'm seeing on the internet. I get downloads on people, and I get downloads on certain situations. That's why I'm pretty good at giving advice, because I'm also getting downloads simultaneously. So in that video, remember I told you guys, somebody in the cast is trying to get her off the show. Somebody secretly doesn't like her, or somebody in production wants her out of the door. And it was confirmed. So let's talk about this for a second. Kenya has always did wild things. When she came in with the Kenya Moore hair care to Marlo's event, when she, pulled the chair from Kim Fields, Kenya has been doing wild things on that show for a very long time. Not saying it's permissible, not saying it's okay, but I'm stating facts. Kenya has been doing things that are left field. She was flirting with Phaedra's husband. I mean, this is nothing new for Kenya, and Kenya has always had her spot on the show. So this is nothing new, okay? This is nothing new. Kenya got consequences for what she did, but Britt Edie didn't, from the outside looking in. So that's giving favoritism and partiality, right? And then the way it was egged on, I feel like somebody put a battery in Britt's back. I told you guys that from the Provoke Them to Get What You Want video, that I felt like Britt Edie is just some collateral damage. I don't really feel like it was really... I feel like there's somebody on that show that hates the fact that Kenya's on there, and they want to remove bread and butter from her plate. Okay? And then I was shocked to find out, that Portia claimed, if she's being honest... Because, I like Portia, but Portia has a history of not being the most honest on the show. Portia claimed, if she's being honest, allegedly, that someone tried to get Kenya fired multiple times. Meaning this cast member has been going to production since the first week of filming, trying to get Kenya off the show. And she said that that person that tried to get Kenya fired is still actively on the cast. I personally believe this. I said this because I got the download when I was talking about this in my last video. Kenya has a hidden enemy. She has somebody that secretly hates her, that doesn't want to see her win in any form or fashion. and they are pulling strings to destroy her life. And these type of hidden enemies, these type of people, they're not just trying to remove bread and butter from your plate. They're also putting seeds in people's heads about you. Like, a hidden enemy wants to destroy you completely. Okay, they don't want you to have anything. And you're not going to know it's them because they're not going to show you any signs. So hopefully in the next season, we will find out who this person that's secretly obsessed with her. That's another thing. Hidden enemies are secretly obsessed with you. They have an obsession with you that they're trying to hide. So when you speak to that person and you talk to them, they talk to you like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, it's all normal, but deep down inside, this person checks your page before they go to bed. They check your page when they wake up in the morning. They're checking your tags. They're going through your following lists. They're keeping up with your posts. They're keeping up with the new friends that you're making. They are literally gang stalking you. Spiritually and physically, they're stalking you in all ways. They are asking their mirror questions about you, okay? So a hidden enemy has a deep-rooted obsession with their victim. And you're not going to know because they're not going to show you. They're going to act composed and normal. This actually reminds me of that episode of Basketball Wives where somebody was stalking Evelyn and somebody was going online and dragging her and her daughter for no reason, for absolutely no reason. And then Evelyn was like, okay, I got to do some research on this because who is this person that has created a Twitter page to stalk my life and bully me and my daughter virtually? So Evelyn went to go and see a attorney, and the attorney got the IP address of the Twitter account and tracked the person down and got their information. And when Evelyn found out about the person, she didn't understand. She said, wait a minute, I don't even know this girl. I don't know this chick from nothing. I don't know nothing about her. I've never hung out with her. I don't have her phone number. Why is she so obsessed with my life? Like, who is this person? And Evelyn only knew her because this person was in Susie's wedding. I believe Evelyn walked in Susie's wedding. Susie was a basketball wife. Evelyn walked in Susie's wedding, or she went to Susie's wedding, and this was one of Susie's bridesmaids. So this hidden enemy that was obsessed with Evelyn going online and creating fake pages to bash her and her daughter was a woman that she met briefly at her friend's wedding. It's not even a woman that she knows personally. So a hidden enemy is somebody that is hyper jealous, envious, and focused on you, and you don't even know this person. Sometimes you know them, sometimes you don't even know them. So when Evelyn did her private investigation and found out who this person was via her attorney, she made Susie set up a meeting between her and the girl, because she told Susie, that's your friend that has been stalking me. And Susie asked her friend, I don't know, why are you stalking Evelyn? Like, you guys have never slept with the same guy. You don't know her. You're not friends with her. Why did you develop this random obsession with her? And the girl could not answer, because these are the type of behaviors that a lot of women carry on with, and they don't want people to find out because it's going to make them look crazy. It's going to make them look mentally unstable. A woman's biggest fear is appearing like a bitter, hating, crazy woman. Women don't ever want to be uncovered. So when this girl came to the meeting, Susie didn't even tell her that Evelyn was going to be there because she was going to backpedal. Women never want to get exposed for the obsessive, erratic, and just unhinged things that they do. They want to hide because they want to appear normal. But if you are secretly developing obsessions with women for no reason, that's not normal. And sooner or later, you should be exposed so other women can stay away from you because you are mentally unstable. So when Evelyn went to this, when Evelyn questioned her, she tried to act like she didn't know what Evelyn was talking about. Evelyn said, I have the messages. I have the emails of you sending people information. I have the messages. And when she tried to deny it, we all know how that scene went. It went real bad. Evelyn ended up, throwing the drink in her face and smacking the sack of papers on her. And it just became a very gruesome scene. And then Evelyn said, you know what? I don't want to go to jail. I'm not going to put my hands on you and all that stuff. But I get why Evelyn was upset, because you're dragging someone's daughter. Shanice was like 15 years old. around that time. So for you to be a woman and you're secretly jealous and envious of a woman you barely know, and you go and create a fake account to drag her and her teenage daughter that is a minor, you deserve to get some harsh consequences for that, because that is crazy. But that is what a hidden enemy, that's what hidden enemies do. So hidden enemies have a strong dislike of you internally. They are secretly praying deep down inside for you to stumble. They want you to fall into harm's way. And a secret enemy sometimes can be like an Evelyn situation, somebody that you barely know, somebody that you probably met briefly at a party, somebody that you just waved at your job. A hidden enemy sometimes can be someone that is at the same company as you, but they work in a completely different they work in a different department, meaning you and this person have no dealings with each other at all, but they are in the same company as you, and maybe they briefly saw you in the lunchroom, or they briefly saw you at the company Christmas party, and from the moment they saw you, that's when the obsession started. And women are notorious for these kind of things. It's usually women that take it this far because they start stalking and doing research and start going overboard. So it's usually a woman that saw you at the company party, sometimes a man too, and they develop this obsession with you right away, and they start stalking your life from that point forward. So that's why I tell you guys, just because somebody's not actively in front of you, just because somebody's not actively in front of your face, that doesn't mean they're not stalking you on the low. Okay, just because somebody is not reaching out to you, it doesn't mean they're not secretly watching your every move. Okay, so hidden enemies have a strong dislike for you. For example, there was this woman, there was a story that was actually posted on YouTube. I'll see if I can find it, of this woman that was friends with her friend, and her friend was her hidden enemy, but her friend showed no signs, right? So unfortunately, this woman started a photography business, and she shared her photography business with her friend that she's going to start photography. And essentially her friend was going online, writing bad Google reviews from like an anonymous page, writing Google reviews about her. But again, she didn't know it was her best friend. Her best friend actually bought her camera and lights to start photography, and was secretly posting bad reviews about her. And also, when she got pregnant, she made her friend, which was a hidden enemy, she made her friend the godmother of her child. And when she went to work, she would leave her child with her friend, which was the godmother, and her friend was purposefully feeding her son a formula made with cow's milk, knowing that her son is allergic to cow's milk. So when the baby started crying and the baby was getting sick, they took the baby to the hospital, and the doctor said he's having an allergic reaction. Thank God he didn't go into anaphylaxis. If you guys don't know what anaphylaxis is when kind of your airways close up in your throat and you can't really breathe because you have now, taken in or touched something you're allergic to. And anaphylaxis it can be very lethal. It can bring you to your grave, because some people have certain allergies that are so extreme that they can't even be around a chunk of cheese. They can't even touch it, or they'll go to the hospital. So she was feeding her best friend's son with cow's milk formula. And when they found out, they told the authorities, and this woman ended up going to jail. And she never thought that they were going to find out about it until one day her best friend, which was the mother of the child, said, "Hey, can you watch my son for me? But you can come to my house to watch him." But little did she know that her friend put up a hidden camera. And in the hidden camera, her friend caught her feeding her son cow's milk formula. So she got the evidence that she needed to put her friend in jail. And it's crazy because when her friend's husband found out, he said, "Babe, how could you do something like that? That is your best friend. How could you purposefully be feeding her son formula that could unalive her baby?" And she looked crazy in front of her husband. And I tell you, a lot of these hidden enemies, a lot of women that like to go along with things like this, they try to cloak themselves. They don't want people to realize how sadistic and unstable they are. So when her husband found out what she was doing, she was extremely embarrassed because she didn't want her husband to find out that she's that type of person. So when her husband found out what she was doing, he asked her for a divorce. He's like, I don't want to be married to a woman that does these kind of things. That is evil. And she was trying her best to cover it up, but her husband ended up finding out anyways. So again, your hidden enemies they're secretly behind a lot of the demise in your life that you're experiencing. They're the ones dropping the tip. They're the ones making the calls. They're the ones sending the DMs about you, but you're not going to know. So if that lady didn't think strategically and didn't think, okay, who has my son been around? Who's been watching my son? How could this have happened? And she didn't set up that trap, she would have never found out that it was her best friend that was doing those kind of things. Another example of a hidden enemy, I'll take an example from my own personal life, is when I was going to that church. Remember I told you guys I was going to that prophetic church, and the leader, he did a humiliation ritual on me, and the first lady didn't like me because she thought that her husband wanted me, and all that stuff that went down. I remember I was doing announcements for that church, and there was a guy who was very close to the leader, and he was trying to get close to me, right? He was married, but he was trying his hardest to get close to me. And when I noticed that he was trying to get close to me, of course, my antennas went up. I personally don't believe men and women can be friends. I think they can be associates, but they cannot be friends. And if a man is married, you cannot have a woman that is your friend who's also married or who's in a relationship, or even if she's single, it's just not appropriate. And he kept trying to push himself on me. And when he was doing that, I realized, okay, he's a flying monkey for the leader that secretly hates me, because hidden enemies throw people your way. They throw people in your environment that you think are coming, in peace, but they're really coming in as a spy, okay? Hidden enemies have flying monkeys, is what I like to call them. So you must be vigilant and careful with people who are trying to get close to you very rapidly, because who sent this person, right? So he's trying to get close to me. He's like, oh my God, I love the way you do announcements. I love your announcements. You're made for the camera. You were created for the camera. All these things. And then after that whole humiliation ritual happened, and I'm sure he was giving that man tips about me, the leader, I woke up one day, they removed me from all the chats, they removed me from everything, and then I was off the stage out of the blue. And then when I looked on the stage, this guy that was trying to get close to me, it was now him and his wife that took over. So secretly, when I was up there, they wanted to be up there. So they were jealous about it. So, they did what they had to do and say what they had to say to get me off and then take the spot. And when this guy kept trying to approach me, I remember one day I looked at him. I turned around and I looked at him with this not like I looked like I was in a trance, but like I said, I can read people very well. And once I read you, I'm not going to allow you to keep infiltrating my space with your strange agendas. That's why I tell people, leave spiritual people alone, because we are going to smell you. So just leave us alone, because we are not going to allow you to infect our space. So I remember I turned around and I looked at him with this glass-eyed look, and I told him, I said, why are you so invested in me? And he's like, huh? I'm like, why are you so interested in me? Why? Because nobody should be that interested in somebody. Why are you so concerned with me? And he really didn't know how to answer that question. And, these people that are hidden enemies or that are working for your hidden enemy, they think that they can hide and cloak themselves. But if you're a spiritual person, God will give you the tip. So another story of a hidden enemy is understanding that these people are sometimes infiltrated in your family. It could be an in-law, it could be a mother-in-law, it could be a sister-in-law, it could be a father-in-law, it could be a cousin, it could be an aunt, it could be an uncle, it could be your own parent, really. And you're really never going to know. So hidden enemies want to continue to have proximity to you without blowing their cover. Hidden enemies are very, very strategic with ensuring that they don't blow their cover. They don't want you to realize that they secretly dislike you, because if you do, who else are they going to have to obsess over? Who else are they going to obsess over if you spot them out and they no longer have access to you? People who are hidden enemies, they have specific people that they obsess over. And they obsess over that person like you are their project. Like you have a mansion in their mind. So if you go away, who are they going to obsess over? These kind of people are people who have very addictive traits, meaning they become addicted to certain people. So they obsess over that person. Like sometimes when I go through my email, I'll have one person probably send me 35 emails a day. The same person. 35 emails a day. Talking to themselves. 35 emails from the same sender every day. And every time I see it, I select all of it and send it to spam. Because some people, they just become addicted to the person that they're obsessing over. They become addicted to that person. And they just want to keep talking to you, and they want to keep being in your environment. Judas was a hidden enemy. And a good example of Judas is Judas was on the same table as Jesus, breaking bread with Jesus. And your hidden enemies are usually people who will be on the same table as you, breaking bread with you. Okay? And smiling and congratulating you. So you have to ask God to reveal to you, God, show me my hidden enemies. Who are my hidden enemies? Okay? Because sometimes these hidden enemies bully you spiritually, meaning they're sending curses on you. Because you're not going to know. So in the spirit realm, they're sending you curses. They're sending you bad omens. You may go to bed and see snakes in your dreams. You may go to bed and see a dog chasing you to bite you. And it's really your friend that you had dinner with the night before that is sending you evil, sending you curses, sending you misfortune. But you're not going to know because she's smiling with you and she's buying you things. And she's congratulating you and leaving heart eyes under your pictures. So how are you going to know, right? So sometimes these people, you have to ask God to reveal them to you. I remember the time I had a dream about my brother, and my dream, I had a dream that somebody close to him, not going to say who the person is, was taking his pants or was taking his clothing to take it somewhere to do something with it. And I had that dream around 3 a.m, and I had called him at 4 a.m, and I said, make sure you don't let anyone in your home, and don't let anybody take your clothes. Don't give anybody your clothes. I don't care if someone says, hey, I want to buy you some pants. Give me a pair of your pants so I know your measurements. Do not give anybody your clothes. I already warned you. Okay, and I told him the person that I saw in my dream as well. So again, these people cannot hide. If you're a spiritual person, you will see them. Like that time I told you guys I had a dream of a client that turned into an alligator. He was an actual alligator. So again, these are people who are trying to hide in the shadows. They don't want you to know how they truly feel about you. They want to keep pretending with you. They want to keep pretending. And I don't want any pretenders around me. Neither should you, because it's just not a good idea. It's not a good deal. I worked in HR for several years, so in this class, I am going to teach you guys tips, tricks, and valuable information so you can be a corporate Spartan. It is not easy working in corporate America, but if you have the right office politics and you know your rights legally, that will definitely help you have a more enjoyable experience. So this class, I will be teaching you from an HR standpoint, what to do, what not to do, and how to jump paths so that you can get the promotions that you always wanted, what to look out for and what not to look out for in office politics. Also, next class on power. Power is very, very important. This class is not about feminine power. It's about power in life and having staying power. To get through life, when you're dealing with humans, men and women, you need to learn how to make sure that you have staying power, and you need to learn how to make sure that all of the moves that you make sense so you can always be 25 steps ahead of everyone else, because life is chess, not checkers.